So the push to cut red tape on finding a vaccine and for treatments in the meantime, like the plasma that Leland talked about, that's where we want to start tonight with our first guest, Senator and Dr. John Barrasso of Wyoming. Senator, welcome back to Fox News at Night. Good to have you.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about vaccine. This is what Dr. Fauci said today when he was asked about this time frame that he's been talking about, 12 to 18 months. Here's what he said.
I mean, the vaccine is, as I said, it's on target. We're still in phase 1. A few months from now, we'll be in phase 2. And I think we're right on target for the year to a year and a half.
Okay, there are some skeptics out there, though. Dr. Maria Elena Batazzi, who is the co-director of the Texas Children's Hospital Center for Vaccine Development, talking about this time frame, says the reality is that's probably not going to happen. We may have real optimism and some safety evidence by then, but not a vaccine. Senator, what say you? Because it seems like Dr. Fauci's been pretty guarded about things that he's put out there, but he sounds rather confident about this with regard to the vaccine.
Well, I'd stick with Dr. Fauci. I've known him for many years. He is a world expert in this. For a vaccine to work, it needs, number one, to be safe, because you're talking about giving it to 300 million Americans, and it has to be effective. So you're going to give it to a lot of people. It has to make sure no one of those folks are harmed by it. And then if they're exposed to the virus, it needs to work for them to be able to fend it off. I'm very excited about the research that's being done. We have a number of different private companies, researchers who are really making a difference. And sure, this isn't something that's going to be developed overnight, but if we can have this done in the kind of time that Dr. Fauci talks about, that will be a world record.
It would. Okay, so I want to play something else from Dr. Birx from today. She talked about these antibody tests, that if we can ramp up the tests, that would allow people to see if they've had COVID-19, recovered from it, and that they would be able to then move about safely. And she was saying primarily for healthcare workers, this would be a huge boon. And she's put out a challenge. Here's what she said.
I think really being able to tell them the peace of mind that would come from knowing you already were infected, you have antibody, you're safe from reinfection 99.9% of the time. And so this, I think, would be very reassuring to our frontline healthcare workers. And our universities can do that by Friday.
I mean, Senator, by Friday, that sounds amazing. She used a little terminology I didn't understand, but she talked about how this had been done and scaled up before with HIV and SARS and some other things. But to have something available this soon, I mean, what kind of role could our universities play in getting something like this out there so that our healthcare workers can know if they're safe, if they have the antibodies, and moving forward?
This would be the real game changer, and not just for our healthcare workers, but for all of our workers in America. You know, we talk about people that may have had the virus but are silent carriers, but they have developed in their body the ability to fight this off, to hold it at bay. And by doing a simple blood test, if we could find that they have who these people are that have built up these antibodies, they could go out and work in the communities, work in the hospitals, get back to life as normal, and we would have a much better understanding of how vulnerable we were as a society and who was safe to help make a big difference in our recovery.
I mean, how quickly could something like that be scaled up? She talked about Friday. I've heard about these tests, that they're relatively cheap once you can figure out the antibody and get it going. Is that something, as you said, that could be more broadly available for people who do want to return to work in other sectors in healthcare, whether it's restaurants or banks or small businesses or whatever else may be out there?
Well, I think it would really help in opening up the economy dramatically for our country if we knew that there were enough people that met this criteria. So the question is, where can you get the test? How many of the tests are available? Can this be done at a regular point of contact, or do you have to send it in and wait several days like we do right now for the coronavirus test? This would make a real difference. This would be a blood test. The test is called a serology test to see if your body has built up antibodies to fight off coronavirus. It's one of the tests that they were doing in South Korea previously, and it would make the big difference in terms of when America opens up and gets back to business and we get back to life as we know it.
Okay, let me ask you also about, Leland was talking about the plasma use, and I've seen a number of universities and healthcare groups and hospital groups now putting out the call. If you're somebody who had coronavirus, you've gotten cleared, you have recovered, could you come in and do the plasma? They're saying, listen, they don't know that it's a guarantee, but it sounds like something that's worked in the past could be very helpful in this situation for people who are currently suffering.
Well, I think there is a lot of optimism for that. We saw that work in the case of Ebola in Africa. People that had that and Bill had gotten over and recovered, those were the people that then were helping treat people as well as being used as part of the treatment for the people with Ebola. It made a big difference. And if it works also for coronavirus, I think that would also be significant for all of us.
Yeah, being answered a prayer. All right, Senator and Dr. Barrasso, thank you for making time for us. Good to see you.
Great to be with you.